Our speaker this morning needs not a long introduction. He is a Geneseo guy, having graduated from Geneseo Central School as well as from John Carroll University in SUNY Brockport. He's a lifelong resident of Geneseo and now Groveland. He served 8 years on the school board. He's also served a period of time on the Geneseo Village Planning Board. His father was very active in the community as well, and a tree over here is dedicated to Jim DeCamp. He taught high school English for 39 years and retired from Rush Henrietta, where he was twice the University of Rochester Teacher of the Year winner, and in 2001 he was one of the 100 teachers nationwide given the U.S. Presidential Scholars Program Teacher Recognition Award from the U.S. Department of Education. So I give you an old friend, Jim DeCamp.
Thank you, Mayor Hathaway. It's a great pleasure to be here this morning. This day is my favorite Geneseo day, the quintessential small town holiday. I've attended every ceremony since 1946, except 1971, when I was a combat infantryman in Vietnam. I want to thank the Frederick W. Totten VFW and the J. Livingston Wadsworth American Legion and their commander, Dennis Staley, for this opportunity to speak. On this day, the weather always seems to be beautiful. The sound system challenged, but not today. The Cub Scouts, Brownies, and Little Leaguers cute. Mr. Mingus's band tight. And Cliff Elger usually drives the old Mac, but today at 95 years young, he rode shotgun. I don't know, is Cliff here, Dorothy? Or Cliff, wherever Cliff is, thank you very much. This lovely bride is over here, Dorothy. The Gettysburg Address will be ably read. Taps will sound and resound through the trees. And the parade is so nice, we have to watch it twice. Many years ago, I rode my bike in this parade, spokes festooned in red, white, and blue, emitting a very cool clicking sound caused by a Mickey Mantle rookie baseball card taped to the frame. I scrambled for the spent casings from the Honor Guard salute and most excitedly watched my grandmother, Isabel Dwyer, be honored. She rode in a convertible, wore a corsage, and sat up front with the other Gold Star mothers. My knowledge then of Gold Stars was limited to the very few my Holcomb School homework received. I had no idea of the requirements, having to bury your son or daughter who had lost that life in service to the country. My Uncle Bill's name is behind my left shoulder on the monument. I never knew him. He lost his life in the spring of '45 as his sister, my mother, was giving me mine. He was a Mustang, my favorite kind of officer, one who had received a battlefield promotion from sergeant to lieutenant because of bravery and, unfortunately, because the officers didn't survive the battle. What I do know about him and the others named behind me is the pain and suffering this Memorial Day is all about. For the families involved, the pain endures all the other uncelebrated 364 days of the year. 40 years after Uncle Bill's death, my mother cries at the sight of a roadside sign in Italy, signifying how many miles to a town where he had fought. I know a little about the last three names from the Vietnam conflict behind me also. I knew Butch Rosborough and Bobby Henderson as young boys, a few years behind me in high school, and they died as young men, not much older than I remembered them. PFC Robert C. Henderson on January 4, 1968 at age 20, and Lance Corporal Francis P. Rosborough on October 23, 1966 at age 19. Two lives stopped short and not led. They could be, should be, standing here now as 60-year-old men with grandchildren in tow. My connection with Major Wilkie is less direct, but I have Marge's permission to tell you of it. In December of '67, I was delivering mail during the Christmas rush while on vacation from college. My job one day was to return the unopened Christmas presents back to the Wilkie house on Oak Street. Unopened because Major Wilkie had died before opening them. I was, of course, supposed to ring the bell and respectfully hand them over. I much less courageously rang the bell and left. So today is a solemn day, one for a flag lowered to half-mast, not waved. A day not for fervor, fireworks, or flybys, but for quiet walks in cemeteries to tend to the graves of the fallen. In the words of General John Logan, let us gather around the passionless mound above them with choicest flowers of springtime. Let us in solemn presence renew our pledges to aid and assist those whom they have left among us. Sacred charges upon the nation's gratitude. The only people, and politicians especially, who love war are people who have never been in one. Nobody detests war more than the warriors. General David Eisenhower said, "I hate war as only a soldier who has lived one can." These are perilous times for America. Our enemies are real and many, but we can simultaneously defend ourselves and work toward and pray for a more just and peaceful world. We can hope and pray that the empty spaces on the wall behind me and on other walls like it all over America remain empty. Thank you, and I'll see you all here again next year.
Thanks very much, Jim, and that's a boy that's come home. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dennis Staley, who's wearing two hats.